Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Warframe we're going to go over the best endo farm in the game. Now technically this can be done solo, but of course as with a lot of things in Warframe, it's best done in a full group, as getting a full proper team composition and group up for this will generally give you more endo per hour. But if you want to do it solo, that's okay too. Just recommended you only use Nekros if you're doing it solo, but hey, it's up to you. This is the Steel Path Arena farm. Quite simply, there's a handful of maps you can really do this on. The only place you can do it on is Steel Path on Sedna. There are 3 maps you can technically do. There's the Vodyanoi map, there's the Yam map, and then there's the Nakki map. The Nakki map is the lowest level one, and it's just not recommended at all. The arena is a little too big, but hey, if you want to try it out, that's up to you. The Yam arena is what I would recommend, as it's the mid-level one, the endo drops are about the same, and the enemies are less hostile compared to the higher level map. The final map is the Vodyanoi map, the highest level Steel Path Arena map. So you would think that this would be the best arena to run, but the reason why I'm running Yam, purely because Vodyanoi has stronger enemies, worse enemy like debuff types, and it's a bigger pain in the butt to actually farm up. So more often than not, you might just get tripped up more running the higher level map, so that's why I would recommend running Yam. It's what I'm mainly running in the video in the background behind you, but I checked around for a lot of them, and yeah, Yam overall was the best. So the way this farm works is pretty simple. You just go to the map and you farm it up as much as you possibly can. There are a handful of things to mention, and we'll go over all of that shortly. Generals are as follows. You want to use a mod drop chance booster, because the mod drop chance booster works with the endo drops on the Sedna arena maps, right? It's weird to me that it's mod drop chance booster and not resource like drop booster or anything like that, but hey, this is Warframe. It's kind of a jank game at this point, and things work weird. So I guess in this case, endo counts as a mod drop, so you want to use a mod drop chance booster. I know, I hate it. Only one person in your party needs the mod drop chance booster. Okay, keep that in mind. It's not like everyone needs it, but yeah, that's how that works. It makes me sad, but that's how that works. If you have a mod drop chance booster, you can get like 2,000 endo a minute, usually pretty common, 1 to 2,000 endo a minute. Drop chances do matter. So that's the generals of the farm. You take a group, go to Yam, and you just farm it up. But of course, there are some special things around that. When we talk about focus trees, people will mainly, I think, say run the Nairman focus tree. You want to have like melee combo chance and the combo duration, general tree, because you're using a lot of melee. But realistically, it doesn't matter as much as you would think. You can use whatever focus tree you truly want. I was using the focus tree to give me some more energy. Do what you want to do. The main thing, though, about this is the weapons and warframes you use. First off, we're going to talk about what weapon you should be using. I would recommend not bothering using any secondary or primary. I would straight up take them off, unequip them, just so you don't have to deal with getting more ammo drops. Have everyone in your party just take off your primary and secondary so that no ammo drops happen. I don't think you technically need to do this. Shouldn't affect the endo drops as mod drop chance booster. Yeah, it's, shouldn't affect the endo drops or anything, but it might be less annoying to get more ammo around the map that you don't use. So take off your primary and secondary. For the melee weapon you want to use, you can use a slash weapon, but you would want to use very specifically the Ripkus weapon, because the Ripkus have a amalgam mod that makes it so that they have 100% chance, I believe, to gore enemies. This will make it so that your team composition for this map will be able to get more loot from using Nekros's ability to just get more loot. So you'll want to use the Ripkus with that amalgam mod because of that. It's not 100% necessary, but it will yield more endo overall. If you don't have the Ripkus with the mod, you can use a very high slash weapon. Something like Nikana's, I think all of them overall have very high slash builds, and like they all do slash damage, so they all have the highest chance of goring the enemies. So that's the general idea. You want to use melee weapons can gore the enemies, and so that Nekros can get more loot from the enemies. This is the general build I would be using for the slash weapons or the Ripkas. It's, you know, a general go-to combo build, nothing too out of the ordinary, right? And that's why with this combo build, you'd want to run Nariman, have more combo duration. Yeah, it would just help a little bit more. The missing mod slot, if you have a Ripkas on, you'd want to throw on your Amalgam Ripkas mod. You can throw on like a Prime Bane mod, or like, is it Bane Grenier, I believe, or Corpus. You'd want to just throw on the mod that would priority target the enemies on the map. So let's say you have the one that does more damage to Grenier. That's kind of what you'd want because this is the Grenier Steel Path Arena area. So throw that on if you have it. If not, that's fine. You can throw on a Riven or really anything else, even more like range if you want it. That is the like one mod that you can splash around and it really doesn't matter. So there you have it. So now we're going to talk about all the Warframes and the builds that you need to go with this. Technically, there's only 3 Warframes if you have a full group that you need, and that would be Khora, Nidus, and Nekros. You use Khora with her Strangledome, like Stranglethorn Veil. I don't know. You use her with her mod, and you get more loot, right? You use Nekros, you use his, was it Despoil ability, Desecrate ability, or like Despoil mod with his Desecrate ability. Either way, you use Nekros, you get more loot. You use Nidus in order to pull enemies in, and that's about all. So that's the general team comp there, and the 4th Warframe can be splashed around however you choose. So let's go and take a look quickly at the general Khora build. The build is quite simple, and it does not have to look 100% like my builds whatsoever, so keep that in mind. The idea for the Khora build is you just want a little bit less range so that enemies aren't flying all over the place, less range so that they're easier to hit with your melees, because that's all you're going to be doing, throwing melee around. So hey, like something like 40 to 60% range is fine. You could throw off Augur Reach for another mod if you want, but this is my general build. I have duration as well. I have Pilfering Strangledome. That's the augment mod, sorry. That's the one you want to throw on so that you can have a chance at getting additional loot. I have Accumulating Whipclaw on just so that I could hit my little area with my Whipclaw if I wanted to, but that is by no means necessary. Whatever arcanes you want, necessary arcanes probably are ones that'll increase your survivability, tankiness, but it doesn't really matter too much. Same with the Aura mod. So for Khora, all you really need is a Pilfering Strangledome and then a little bit less range so that the enemies don't fly all over the place, and then you should be good to go. I was running Khora the whole time, messing around a little bit and trying things out, as this was just experimentation time. So that's what I found worked well. But as always, if you have like a specific team setup that they prefer, always go with whatever your team wants or what have you, because some people like it a little different, and you know, it's up to whoever's generally getting the group together. Some people like the range a little bit lower to 40%, others like a little higher, 60 to 70%, right? So it's not a huge issue. Next up, we have the Nidus build, and this one luckily is very simple. The idea is you want very high range and you want very low duration. You want high range so it'll hit all of the enemies, low duration so that enemies won't be sticking to his second ability Larva. Literally all you're going to be doing is casting Larva. It'll have like a 1 second duration, so it'll pull it into Khora's Pilfering Strangledome, and then everyone will attack from there. So that's my general Nidus build. Throw on whatever you want. Again, for energy regen arcanes, tank arcanes, it's up to you, right? All you need, high range, low duration, maybe some efficiency, and maybe some strength. Again, it is up to you. That's the nice thing about these builds is like you can just throw on a couple things and then you're good to go, and then the rest is just like whatever you feel like you need. So good guy Nidus just needs range and negative as little duration as possible, right? So 10 to 20% duration with this general build works well. Last but not least, we have the Nekros build. So you don't even technically need Despoil for this Nekros. The only thing you really need to do is just cast Desecrate, his third abilities, and that'll make it so enemies around you drop more loot. I know, crazy good stuff. Can't really be too mad at that. I just put on as much strength as I possibly could, and you don't even need range. So yeah, just strength and survivability on the Nekros, and you should be good. Same with arcanes, doesn't matter. You can throw on more tanky arcanes, but I haven't gone out of my way to collect a lot of arcanes, so I don't care about that. But since I don't really build up or play Nekros ever, this is my general build that I have on him. Again, you only need to be able to cast his third ability a lot, so as long as you can do that, you are good to go. The fourth Warframe is kind of hilarious because you can do whatever you want, like legitimately. For the fourth Warframe, you could have another Nekros or another Khora if you truly want. Usually another Nekros is more recommended so that you can despoil harder, right? Desecrate harder, if you will. But that's usually only if you miss some enemies, so definitely not needed for sure. You can throw on a Wisp because Wisp is just nice because of her like little motes. They just give health regen and general buffs, so they're really good like that. So you could throw on Wisp. Some people like throwing on a Speed Novus with high range, right? Nothing too surprising there. Makes enemies run faster, run a little closer to your Nidus, etc., etc. So yeah, you may be noticing in the background, we're just camping out at this spot right by this little doorway. That's just so that enemies can run by the doorway better and like spawn in easier and get hit with Nidus's second ability. That's really all there is to it. Like the gameplay in the background is pretty simple. You're just using your Pilfering Strangledome, everyone's meleeing a bunch, and that's about it, baby. I was trying for a little bit not to melee since I only had an Icona. I didn't have my Ripkiss with the Amalgam mod, but hey, that's kind of how that goes. So those are the fourth Warframes. The final thoughts on this builder and this run is it's always been a good thing to farm Steel Path Arena. It's just Steel Path isn't the most popular game mode these days, and you really do have to go out of your way half the time in order to get like a proper Steel Path Arena farming group together. Because goddamn, Warframe has been a calmer and more quiet game since ever because it's calmed down, okay? The game peaked like 3-4 years ago, I think, and since then it's chilled out a bit. Bringing back and revitalizing Steel Path would probably require crossplay and cross-save to happen, and maybe a little bit more reason to run Steel Path, but it's possible to get groups together running this, just yelling out in recruiting chat or in your clan. It's always a fun time when you can actually get a group together for this, but man, is it a gamble sometimes. That's like the huge pain in the ass about this entire farm is, can you get a group of 3, possibly 4 together to do it well? If not, you're probably going to run Nekros solo, okay? You'll want to run Nekros with a general third ability build, some invincibility like Rolling Guard, and just strength, I guess? You'll just want to kill enemies while using your third ability, so if you're doing it solo, that's how it's done. If you're doing it solo, you might want to helmet on a CC ability to your Nekros as well, and that'll make everything a lot easier, depending on which CC abilities you have available from the helmet, but that'll be how you do it solo if you don't want to get an entire group together. Again, I talked about like Focus and Arcanes a little bit earlier, and IMO, they really don't matter too much. Same with Auras, you can use just like a full Corrosive Projection team. It doesn't matter too much as long as everyone has like a good enough build going, right? So that's the nice thing about this. It's a simple idea, and if you're better at it, you'll get some more Endo. I think, again, the idea is you'll get 1,000 to 2,000 Endo a minute, depending on drops, RNG, how fast you're doing it, you know, the usual stuff. So as of right now, and for, I think ever since Steel Path came out, this has been the most effective and time efficient Endo farm. It just gets pretty boring because you're just essentially sitting in one spot using some abilities and then meleeing mindlessly. So hey, maybe not the most fun to run, but people have ran this one so hard these past 3 years. So let me know what you think. I thought it was about time I make a video on the fastest Endo farm possible and how to do it, since I finally made some time to do it on stream. So thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. Checking everything out. Use Epic Games creator code Pupsker. Follow me on YouTube and Twitch where I stream, and I will see you next time. Peace.